So what if you have a lawsuit against another party that you're trying to recover assets from or get a judgment from, but you don't have the money to complete the litigation? What if the attorney's fees are going to be a lot of money? What if the investigative or court fees are going to be a lot of money? Do you have any options? Well, you've heard about attorneys doing contingency lawsuits, and there's some attorneys that will do that for some types of cases. If it's a very clear-cut personal injury case where there's an insurance company that's very clearly going to make an offer, there are some attorneys that will do contingency cases. It's very rare, rarer than you think, and they only do a narrow range of cases. But if you have other types of litigation, there may be options for you to get funding. There are companies, I'm going to pull a couple on the screen. We don't know anything about these companies. We're not recommending them. Just giving an example of the type of arrangements. This is called litigation funding. That's the type of phrase that's used for this. You can get hundreds of thousands before your case settles, get cash in 24 hours, no risk. If you lose your case, you owe us nothing. Most of this is what's called non-recourse finance, meaning that if it doesn't work out, you don't have to pay it back. Supports business in pursuing litigation. And each one of these companies will have different types of requirements, only different types of cases they do. You also have companies that are social justice, where they want to help people get results. This is an interesting tech version of it, where this company plans to let everyday Americans invest in crypto tokens in initial litigation offerings. So what they're doing is, it's like a stock market of litigation financing by allowing people to bet on civil lawsuits through the purchase and then trading of crypto tokens. Not sure if this is legal, if this is even rolled out yet. There seems like there's a lot of gray area here. But if this does come to fruition, this may be a way, what they call making access to justice affordable, and allow people that if it's cost prohibitive to go to court, then you can use this as an alternate source. Now, of course, if you do this and sell interest or shares in your litigation, if it turns out you win, you're going to have to give away some of your judgment. They're promising 50% annual return, so the payouts are huge. It's very lucrative. But if you're a plaintiff and you figure you have a good case, you may be able to look at some of these options. Now, one of the things that any litigation finance company is going to do is what's called vet the claim. And that means they're going to check it out before they allow you to sell shares to make sure it looks like it's a good case. Now, you might think it's a good case, but legal experts and investigators who have seen hundreds or thousands of cases might know, well, yeah, this seems like a good case to you, but in our experience, we've seen many, many cases like this go down the tubes. Part of vetting the claim is making sure you have good evidence gathered. You know your story about the case. You telling it verbally to an attorney, litigation finance company, mediator, arbitrator isn't good enough. They're not going to take your verbal word for it. You're going to have evidence. So the more documentation you have, whether you do it or an investigator does it, the more likely somebody's going to take you seriously. Anybody can make up a story. I'm not saying you did, but you just telling a verbal story is no different from somebody who's making it up out of thin air. If you have actual facts and documentation and collected evidence, especially if that evidence was prepared by a neutral third party. If you provide copies of documents, who knows if you made them on Photoshop or altered them or didn't provide the whole picture. But if you have an attorney or an investigator or somebody that's a licensed third party prepare a report for your case, first of all, you'll know what your case looks like in writing. And then if you want to pass this along to litigation financing or some other source, you have it coming not just from your own self-interest point of view. You have a third party who's a credentialed expert, whether it's an attorney, private investigator, fraud investigator, puts this in writing and puts their name to it, signs it with their license number. A lot of times that will help somebody that you're trying to get involved, to get on your side, to take you seriously. If it's more than just verbal, somebody just telling a story, that means something. Like they say, picture's worth 1,000 words. You say 1,000 words out of your mouth, that might not mean something to somebody as much as if you have a picture or a document that says, look, here it is right here. Here's the fraud. Here's the scam. Here's the loss. Here's the identity of the person. Now you're in a different ballpark. So if you're looking at sources to fund your pursuit of justice, pursuit of your recovery, consider what your options are for litigation financing. And you can contact us through our website. We can pass along your information possibly to those who might do this. We don't provide this financing ourselves, but we may be able to provide it to somebody, or at least give you an idea of what your case might look like through a consultation and understanding of what all went into the damages or losses you've incurred.